Well, I don't have very long to fish today, so today I'm going to show you 3 ways to up your kayak fishing game. And we're starting right now. Well, I just pulled up and launched at Bing's Landing in Palm Coast. I only have a few hours to fish. Interestingly, I ran into a fisherman who went out this morning. He caught a few fish, he said, but things weren't biting. That is way number 1 that you can actually up your kayak fishing game. Why am I going out now at 2:30 in the afternoon, even though I only got a few hours? Whereas he went out at 8 a.m. this morning. Well, if you ever heard yourself say, man, there were fish there last time I was here, or boy, every time I go, I catch fish in this location, then you're thinking the wrong thing. Fish are not about locations. Fishing is about conditions. Now, it's kind of windy right now. The current is coming in. Moving current is what you want. Also, the tide is high and now it's going low. Now, normally I would fish, if I had 4 hours to fish, I would fish 2 hours before high tide to 2 hours after high tide normally, depending on the area. But in this area, since I only have 2 hours to fish and these 2 hours overlapped with that segment of time, then that's when I'm going fishing. But notice, I didn't say I only have 2 hours in the morning or 2 hours in the evening. What I said was 2 hours before to after high tide. Tide dictates when fish are going to be there. If you want to up your fishing game, then learn how to read the tide tables. Go when the fish are there. Finding the fish, which is 90% of fishing. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't call it fishing, they'd call it catching, right? If you caught fish all the time. Well, the 90% is finding the fish, knowing where they are, when they're going to be there. And they don't go by a clock. They go by the tide. They're trying to optimize when they're going to be able to eat. They're predators. That's what they think about 99.9% of the time is food. Now, it's also a game of hide and seek. What that means is, as a fisherman, I'm looking and scanning all the time for the right water conditions. I'm looking at where would a fish hide. If I'm going to cast and make an investment of my time in that way, then I'm going to cast where the fish are hiding, because predators also like an easy meal. Think of it this way. If you're hungry, the way to get fast food is to pull up to a window and have someone hand it to you. Interestingly, predators are the same way. They park themselves out at pinch points. That's locations where 2 land masses come together and narrow. And as the water moves through there, bait fish move through, and the predators don't have to chase after the bait fish for so long. They come right through, just like the person hands you your food through a drive-through. So look for places where fish are going to hide. That's going to be structure, so underwater structure, but also little corners, like right here would have been good to cast, little corners where they can hide out, and as bait fish pass through, they'll ambush them. Remember, way number 1 to up your fishing game is to realize there really are no honey holes. What fish are doing is they're going to locations where they think the odds are in their favor. So go to those same locations and you'll put the odds in your favor of putting more fish in the boat. But that's just way number 1 to up your fishing game. Wait till you hear number 2. Love this water-soaked grass. All of my eyewear is provided by HOBIE Eyewear. If you'd like to get 20% off your HOBIE Eyewear, link in the description below. Well, way number 2 can be summed up in this expression. Patience is a virtue. What do I mean by that? If you've ever fished, maybe the first time you fished, you know how you felt that first tap on the line and you got so excited and you said, oh, fish on, and well, maybe you didn't say that, but you tried to set the hook on that fish. Patience is a virtue. You see, what you have to do is you have to wait until you feel the fish. Now think about that expression. Wait until you feel the fish. Most people try to set the hook as soon as they feel a nibble, a bite on the other end of the line, and they miss 90% of their fish. If you wait until you feel the fish is committed. The bait is in that fish mouth and he's turned on it. If you felt the fish, and as soon as you feel the weight of that fish, you can set the hook, and 90% of the time, you'll put fish in the boat. But it takes patience to wait until you feel the fish. So try that next time. That is the second way to up your kayak fishing game. Oh, fish on, fish on, fish on. Oh yeah, he came up and snagged it. Looks like a speckled trout. Biggin too, nice. Came up and got it. Look at this guy. There you go, guys. Nice big old speckled trout. All right. Look at that. There you go, guys. Nice little speckled trout action there. There we go. Nice speckled trout. Let's see what he is. He is 18 inches, an 18-inch speckled trout. Beautiful color. Beautiful color right there. 18-inch speck. All right, guys, first fish in the boat, speckled trout. Just being patient, flicking a little prawn. All right, you just saw me catch that 18-inch speckled trout. That fish was caught on the Z-Man shrimps in the Laguna shrimp color. Had a little bit of Procure crawfish on there. All my baits are provided by Discount Tackle. If you'd like a discount on your tackle, link in the description below. I bet you've been waiting patiently for tip number 3 that will help you to up your kayak fishing game. I gotta warn you, this one's a little controversial. Let me introduce it this way. If you've ever done any kind of carpentry work, you know that there's a hammer and a screwdriver. You can use a hammer in places where you would want to use a screwdriver. For example, have you ever banged in a screw? If you do that, it works to a degree, but it also causes some collateral damage. What's true about that is this. You learn that using the right tool for the job is important. That is way number 3. It can be summed up in one expression. Use the right tool for the job when it comes to kayak fishing. Now, that can be applied in many areas, but I want to talk about one. I get asked the question, why do I use a bait caster? Now, here's where the controversy comes in. It's not that a bait caster is better than a spooled reel. It's not. It's just that it helps me in 95% of the situations I find myself in when I'm fishing in the marsh. And that's this. I need to be super accurate about where I want to cast. I want to place the bait right where I have my eye picked out. If you remember earlier, I said it's a game of hide and seek. So I'm always picking spots where I think a predator fish is hiding, and I want to cast and hit that spot exactly. Actually, I want to go a little bit beyond it and then retrieve the bait back to that location. So I'm always aimed with my casts. Well, I just find that with a bait caster and the ability to cast it, sometimes with one hand, but to definitely control it with my thumb. I can thumb the spool to stop the cast. That is absolutely a great tool that we as kayak fishermen can use, especially because we've got so many other things going on where we're watching for predators, trying to find fish and always scanning. We're always on the move, so we have to steer our vessel. All those things seem to go on at the same time, and so if I can use my reel to make sure that my casts are more precise, then why wouldn't I add that to my arsenal? So I just find the advantages of the bait caster to be ideal for kayak fishing. Well, we've got a gorgeous sunset. I hope you enjoyed. Those are my 3 ways that you can up your kayak fishing game. I bet you got even more. Leave those in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. In the interim, click on this video here or that one over there for more catches, tips, and tricks. I'm Kayak Fishing Addict. This is YouTube. I'll see you in a few days.
Before the clock runs out.